Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi's BJP party are projected to fall short of the 400-seat mark they were hoping for in the country's general election. Early trends show the BJP-led alliance is leading in just under 300 seats, while opposition parties are ahead in about 200. The world's biggest election was held in 7 phases over 6 weeks, with almost 1 billion people registered to vote. Norway's top general has said NATO only has 2 to 3 years to prepare before Russia regains its ability to launch a conventional attack on the alliance. General Eirik Kristoffersen's comments are the latest in a series of warnings from Western leaders and defense officials about the threat from Moscow and the alliance's current lack of preparedness. Norway has been a member of NATO since its foundation in 1949. US court papers allege that a British bank that escaped prosecution for money laundering carried out billions of dollars of transactions for funders of terrorist groups. Standard Chartered, one of the UK's largest banks, avoided prosecution by the US Department of Justice after Lord Cameron's government intervened on its behalf in 2012. New documents filed to a New York court claim thousands of transactions worth more than $100 billion were carried out by the bank from 2008 to 2013 in breach of sanctions against Iran. In a statement, the bank says it disputes the whistleblower's claims, saying their previous allegations had been thoroughly discredited by US authorities. Mexican stocks have tumbled after Claudia Sheinbaum won a landslide victory in the country's presidential election. Mexican shares fell over 6%, while the peso, which has slid since the start of 2024, saw its weakest daily close since November. Outgoing President Andrés Manuel López Obrador said on Monday that Mexico's finance minister will remain in his post for some time to help smooth the transition. When asked about the possibility of pursuing major reforms in Congress, he said he would discuss the topic with Sheinbaum. Grass wildfires have burned over 14,000 acres near San Francisco in California. At least 2 firefighters were injured in the region's first major wildfire of the season. Thousands of The blaze broke out on a hill managed by the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory on Saturday and has since spread on the wind some 20 square miles. Officials say this is a reality check for the upcoming fire season. Kanye West is being sued for sexual harassment, breach of contract, and wrongful termination by a woman who worked as his assistant for 2 years. In a lawsuit, Lauren Pisciota alleges the star sent her lewd texts and performed sexual acts while on the phone with her, according to US media. She claims she was fired in 2022, but that a $3 million severance package was never paid. A team of international scientists have said climate change made the recent flooding that devastated southern Brazil twice as likely. More than 170 people were killed and nearly 580,000 displaced after storms and floods battered Brazil's southernmost state of Rio Grande do Sul last month, while local authorities described it as the worst disaster in the region's history. Even in the current climate, experts from the World Weather Attribution Group said the heavy rainfall that submerged entire towns and destroyed critical infrastructure was an extremely rare event expected to occur only once every 100 to 250 years. But the group said it would have been even rarer without the effects of burning fossil fuel. And China says its lunar probe has successfully taken off from the far side of the moon to begin its journey back to Earth, carrying the first samples ever collected from the region.
各号注意，我是北京，钻进起薪结束，下面组织实施提薪整形。
State media says the collected module of the Chang'e 6 craft lifted off about 7:30 in the morning on Tuesday to begin the journey back. On Sunday, the robot landed in a giant crater close to the moon's south pole in a world-first feat celebrated by the international science community. China is the only country to have landed on the far side of the moon, having also done so before in 2019. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.